What did not come up last night, among other questions that have to do with business and all things that matter to the economy, was the fact that cyber hacks are costing the average American business in America $13 million. It's hundreds of millions for bigger companies, but $13 million is a huge chunk of change. This, as a landmark cybersecurity bill, gets one step closer to becoming law. Now, today, the head of the NSA made it clear businesses cannot fend off cyber attacks without the government's help. Admiral Mike Rogers said, quote, "It is unrealistic to me to expect the private sector to withstand efforts of nation states to penetrate their systems. Is it time to tap the government till to put up an iron curtain around them and protect our businesses?" We're bringing in one of the top authorities on cybersecurity in the world, General Keith Alexander, the highest-ranked military official at U.S. Cyber Command, founder of IronNet Cybersecurity, former NSA. Great to have you here in a Fox Business exclusive.
Thank you. Do I get credit for bringing the S&P up, too?
Yeah, I'll give you credit entirely. It's great to have you, General. We'll take it. And I want to give you credit because you've come here to say what? That the government might very well need to divert some of its funds to help businesses because they can't do it alone in fighting cyber terror?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. Let me walk through that. That's a great point. As you look at what's going on, an attack against a company like Sony, we can't expect Sony to defend itself for a host of reasons. One, it's a nation state attacking a company. And two, that company cannot fire back. We won't allow private companies to attack another country. As a consequence, the government has to step in. What's the role of the government? I think the first step is getting the cyber legislation in. And the next step is how do we share data between companies, within sectors, and with the government so that the government can step in when a company is being attacked and stop that attack.
We talked about Sony. That's an entertainment company. What about Lockheed Martin?
What?
Northrop Grumman, the Southern company that has nuclear operations for energy. Those are the ones I really care about here.
Right, so we have to set up a process that protects the country. You know, I think as you look at it, and this is something that we really, I personally looked at, how do you do you do just critical infrastructure?
Which costs money.
Which costs money, or do you do the nation? And the answer is, well, our government's here to defend the nation. They don't choose between one or the other, and we can do both.
We have some breaking news, and I'll give you the credit again. The Dow just turned positive.
Okay, we're working hard on this.
Yeah. You, a four-star general, he's making it happen. He gets the job done.
Yeah.
Okay, so
hopefully
it's straddling for the moment. Well, as you look at all that's on the plates here, I remember just back at Davos a year ago, the Lloyd's of London CEO told me that the number one concern of what companies wanted to insure themselves against had suddenly become not fire, not earthquakes, but cyber hacks. So this is a huge amount of money. Do you think the conservative Republicans will go for that? They should at least consider this, right?
Yeah, well, I think there's a couple things that we've got to do. What's the government's role, proper role? What can industry do for itself? And then how do we help the small and mid-sized businesses? For big companies, as you noted, they can do most of it themselves. They need the government to come in when it's a nation state going after them. Small companies, it's much more difficult. They're going to need to do this as a service. All of them, though, think about this. There's 7,000 banks. If all of those were able to work together and we could see what's hitting them, they could see what's hitting all the other banks and hitting them, they'd have a much better defense.
And put up the IronNet.
That's right.
The name of your company, IronNet.
Right. And so if you did something like that, then the government, when needed, could see what's hitting the financial sector or the energy sector, and you could defend all of them, big and small.
We've got to go, but who's the bigger threat? Russia cyber hackers, or Chinese, or North Korean?
Well, I think for damage to the nation, I worry more about Russia. For long term, I'm worried about China and the intellectual property. So what the president's agreed on, if they can keep that, that will help us in the long term.
Fox Business exclusive with General Keith Alexander. Thank you so much. You expect that bill to pass, right? The cybersecurity?
I'm hopeful, yes.
Okay. Good to see you. Thank you.